Hello and welcome to this week's Making It Pitch podcast with me, Gareth, and Keith. Keith.
Cheers.
If I said something nice, you'd be off your game for the entire podcast, so I have to be slightly rude. Not completely rude, but slightly rude.
Hello, everybody. How are we doing?
I think we're all doing good.
Sorry, don't blow it.
So we've got quite a bit of news to go through because of Comic-Con.
Nothing happened this week. I mean, there's no news this week at all. I mean, nothing.
Okay. So we've got quite a bit of news from Comic-Con. We're going to spend the last part of the whole thing just talking about Deadpool. Now, we're supposed to be going through Chris Nolan films. It's our next raft of films. And I watched Memento. And it's very Chris Nolan. It's so Chris. If anybody ever watched a Chris Nolan film and wasn't expecting that, it's like in Tenet. Yeah, it's just like kind of, if you didn't get that, or the way Inception was put together, it's just that this is like this is what I'm going to do going forward. But we're not talking about that. We'll talk about that next week because Keith watched it and he got confused and then started.
No, I've got through about half of it, but I have a wife that's made me do lots of things today. So I think the time that I was planning to do it, I was in Tesco's.
Tesco's?
Yeah.
You've got a Tesco's?
Well, it used to be Tesco's. They've rebranded now, but yes, we used to have Tesco's. It still is Tesco's technically, but yes, Tesco's.
Okay, that's weird. You're on the other side of the planet and you still got Tesco's.
Oh, I can tell a few stories. I mean, I've been on the middle of a desert island in the middle of the sea, walking from one to another, and there was a shack on there, and what they were selling, Tesco's water. Made me giggle. Anyway,
that's
right.
That's mad.
We've got a lot of news to get into, so that's
a lot of news. And
are we going to go with the big one first, or should we save that to the last?
No, we're going to go with the big one. Let's not bury the lead. Let's go straight in and talk about the very first piece of news that we've got, and it's like this. In a development that will significantly shift the MCU, they are introducing a beloved actor in a dramatically different role. Potentially setting the stage for new and exciting storylines inside the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Robert Downey Jr. is set to play Doctor Doom in Avengers Doomsday. Doomsday.
What?
Doomsday.
I mean, the first thing that strikes me is you wanted Doctor Doom. You wanted.
I want. It is that him and Apocalypse are the two logical choices. And Doom wins out because you haven't got X-Men and mutants yet in the MCU. When you get them, Apocalypse then becomes the one to go to. Yeah? And, I wanted Doctor Doom. I didn't want this. I really didn't want this. This here is going to cause so much confusion to the normies. It's probably going to piss them off and put them off.
Well, this is the thing, right? I said to you a couple of weeks ago, because we had this discussion, what could save Marvel? Throw a fucking, 100 million at Robert Downey Jr. and bring him back, right? And you went, do Doctor Doom. And
no, I that was separate.
I know. And they obviously heard and got confused. I mean, we're also bearing that there is actually another story on top of this, because the first thing they fucking announced before they brought him on was the Russo brothers are back. Yes. So the Russo brothers are writing 3 and writing both these movies. They're coming out a year apart. So they're doing
Doomsday
what they did with the last Avengers movies. I mean, lots of people are going, "Oh, MCU is saved." I largely credit the Russo brothers with killing the MCU. So,
well, they didn't kill it; they ended it. They
yeah,
ended it. They put it at a point where it should stop because they didn't leave it. They kind of closed a load of stuff off and didn't leave it open. I I would have just had a thing of when, what do you call it? Tony goes to snap his fingers. I would have had Deadpool turn up, take the gauntlet off it, put it on his hand. Tony goes, "I can do this," and then it cuts. It's like 6 months later, and he wakes up, and Deadpool wakes up in hospital, and he saved everything and undone all the shit that they did. That would have worked better in my eyes, but yeah,
I'm gonna get Deadpool in the Avengers. I think. I have, but we'll come back to that in the film. But they dropped a little thing there in the Deadpool film that was kind of hinting at that. But I mean, I was watching this, and when they brought the Russo brothers on, I was kind of like, okay, so they made arguably the best MCU movies, and the word. So my initial reaction was, okay, wise choice. Then I remembered Endgame and went, And then they announced Doomsday, and I went, "Oh, Gareth will be happy." That's the first fucking thought that went through my brain. Doomsday, and I went, "Oh, they're fucking doing Doctor Doom, awesome." Then they go this fucking okay, and then they announced the act, and I went, I'm looking, I'm going, no, right, and then and I'm watching it live, and then all these bloody Doctor Dooms move out the way, and there's a guy that walks in the green suit, and I fucking knew who it was because it was just like. And then, the minute he rips off the mask, the entire of Hall H erupts with applause. And I was caught up in it. I was like, no, fuck it. And then I started thinking, hang on, how the fuck is this going to work?
Yeah. So this is my issue. Because if he is a variant Tony Stark that went evil, that's not Doctor Doom. And we've got variant Tony Starks that have gone evil. Yeah.
But they're saying he's playing Victor Van Doom, so I don't.
Victor Von Doom. That Victor then causes confusion to people. So I think this is a fucking colossal blunder. I think people are going to go in there and go, "Well, why is Iron Man bad?" That's what they're going to say. They're going, "Why is Iron Man bad?" It's going to cause more issues. Now, from Robert Downey Jr.'s perspective, it's going to be much more interesting him playing a bad guy than a good guy. Yeah, so as an actor, he's got something to work with, which for him's great. But it was possible for me. That comes across as maybe possibly the worst casting you could have done for that part. I can think of lots of actors that could have fulfilled that role, and I wouldn't have picked Robert Downey Jr. I'll be honest with you.
I don't know why they just didn't bring him back. And I know he wanted to come back. And he said he would come back as Tony Stark. So, but look, I mean, you're right. Robert Downey Jr. said, "Look, I like interesting and strange parts." But I don't know how I feel about this. I don't know how I feel about it because I like Robert Downey Jr. and I think he could be good. But you're right about the variant.
Yeah, it's the bit that gets me, and the fact that I don't think he's tall enough for Victor Von Doom. Victor Von Doom's quite a tall bastard. Yeah, he's the one who kind of towers over like people like Batman. I don't say Batman, even though he's in a separate universe. But yeah,
I mean, they say that they're introducing him in the Avengers. They're not. They're going to introduce him at the end. He'll be the cutscene at the end of Fantastic Four movie. But they announced. I mean, or we'll get into the news on the Fantastic Four in a minute, but. You see, I mean, when we've said this before, like when Infinity War came out, I took a great dump on it, and now I've changed my mind entirely about that film and really like Infinity War, and really don't like Endgame. And the more I watch it, I don't like it. And everybody, I think a lot of people have got rose-tinted glasses on because of that final fight. And don't get me wrong, the final fight is awesome. When Cap picks up the fucking Thor's hammer, when Cap goes Avengers Assemble, those are awesome moments. But the film did Tony Stark dirty. And, I still maintain that Tony Stark, was not a hero. because he chose his daughter over everything, and that's not what a hero do. Heroes make sacrifices. And look, I know that every father of a little girl in the world is going to save their little girl, right? But a hero makes sacrifices, and that's not what heroes are meant to do. And he was meant to be a hero, and I think they've always done him dirty. Yes, he was the one that did that, but by that point in time, it's like, well, you're a prick. Because you know, lots of people's lives have been ruined by this 5-year time jump. There's people died. There's people that were on airplanes that have crashed. All these people that were died because of that 5-year time jump. This is why the 5-year time jump thing was so stupid, and Disney never should have signed off on it. Never should have.
What they should have done is they should have done it so he clicks the fingers, yeah, and then he's got like 10 minutes to get to him, and the others have got like 10 minutes to get to Wakanda to beat Thanos before he takes the thing from Vision. That's what they should have done, yeah. And all he had to do is yell at Thor, "Go for the head," and then you can finish off with him going for the head and taking his head off, because you'd kind of set that up as a thing. But coming back to Doom is the go-to bad guy, better than Kang. Miles.
No, I agree with you.
And it's just the thing with Kang too. It's like, as I think we said it before, Kang, they shouldn't have, what do you call it with Kang? They shouldn't have killed Kang off at the end of Ant-Man. They should have had him turn up and wipe the other Kangs out, so he was the only one left. Yeah, and then that would have made him really fucking dangerous, and they could just be sweeping through fucking universes and whatnot. So. And then, if you even with Kang, I think if you wanted to pick a villain at that level, Annihilus would have made a better villain, and you could have introduced Fantastic Four and Annihilus at the same time too. You could have, but we got to Doctor Doom, which is the one, as I said, Doctor Doom, Apocalypse are the ones that you kind of want in this situation because they are proper threatening. Yeah, Doctor Doom always managed to get away with lots of shit in the comics and whatnot, and it was a good choice in Marvel vs. Capcom, being gaming nerd there. But the Robert Downey Jr. aspect of it, that's the bit that's just going to lose everyone. The multiverse stuff and time travel loses people. They need to nip all this shit in the bud.
I think it will lose the nerds like us. Whether it will lose the normies, I'm not sure.
I think I think the nerds will be fine. I think the normies won't. I think it is just the fact that all of a sudden they're expecting to see Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, and they're not getting that.
Unless it's a feint. I think there's more to this. You know, there's a lot more to this. Why cast him as it? I mean, you know, are they thinking like old school Hollywood, where the name is enough to bring somebody in, it doesn't matter who they play? Because that has kind of not the case anymore. So why are they doing it? Why is it Robert Downey Jr.? And I think we're not being told everything. And I'm just not sure if this is going to lead to an elaborate way to bring him back as Tony Stark.
The only thing
we're not being told anything.
The only thing I could think of is that Tony Stark has, what do you call it? Tony Stark is come back from another universe to try and warn everyone about Doctor Doom, and he sets up some kind of scenario or something to test them, to warn them that he's coming, and then he comes back and helps them. That's happened. We've got precedents. I'm sure that happened plenty of times in the comics.
I think this is not. You can't have the MCU, right? So there's going to be some kind of multiverse bullshit in here, right? But you cannot have the actor who launched the MCU come back and play a completely different bad guy and not somehow fucking explain it. Because you're not just going to have people. You're right. People are not just going to accept him as Doctor Doom. And if they don't do something, if there isn't a feint here, then it will be, you know, the biggest misstep in that's, you know, been made. Yes, they've made missteps before. They did it in all the Marvel TV series, but this is colossal.
See, for me, I would have had Mads Mikkelsen as Doctor Doom.
No, I agree with you. Again, that
would have been
brilliant
great as
casting.
Doctor Doom.
But
The other person probably is who's the one who plays Gabriel in the one with David Tennant and Michael Sheen, Good Omens.
oh, really?
Him.
Yes.
As Doctor
the
Doom.
guy. Yeah. Yeah, he can play a bad guy. He can be quite sinister, actually. Usually, he's quite comedic, but you're right. He can be quite sinister.
But those are if you'd have asked me to cast Doctor Doom, those were the two people I would have gone to. Yeah, that were the two people I would have gone. Those guys. But
I'm just not sure we're being told everything, and I'm not sure that's the final, because we're getting Secret Wars, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, they're saying that they're hinting at that it will be along the lines of the comic. So if we're getting that, we need to get the battle world thing where they're all fucking taken to. Which means that Deadpool's going to turn up, which means Wolverine is going to fucking turn up.
So that's the other thing too, is if they're doing, what do you call it, Doomsday, Robert Downey Jr. turns up pretending to be Doctor Doom to prepare them for the fact that he's created this battle world thing. That kind of makes sense. And if it happens, I fucking called it. But given the state, I'm not. I
have no idea. But look, they're bringing the Russos back, right? And the Russos, 3 out of the 4 movies that they did were really good, right? One of them is your favorite, so, and plenty of other people's favorites. So, 3 out of the 4 movies, they were really good. So it's not completely without hope. But right now, I don't get this. But there seems to be a plan. You know, we don't get the setting of the Fantastic Four. We don't get that. We're going to come back to that in a minute, because there was one cool thing in that they showed. We don't get that, but there is something going on, because there is a plan in place. They've obviously changed their plans from the Kang Destiny, but I'm not sure. I think getting rid of Major's character, you know, and blaming it on his, you know, him getting arrested and convicted. I think that was a convenient. I think that was a convenient excuse, because I think they were beginning to have doubts. Well, they were definitely having doubts.
Really, come Keith, the shit that they put out, they've had doubts over. Come on, man. They've been putting.
I look. Kevin Feige had to sign off on that Deadpool movie, right? And regardless of how it came about, they said some shit in that film, and I am still surprised that they got away with it, right? So the fact is, I think this is, you know, we're going to talk about it, but they got away. He got away with way more than I thought he was going to get away with, right? And there was some fucking bang-on lines in there that were dead on. They were what we've all been saying, what all the guys that are the ists on YouTube have been saying, and they were all said there. The only damn thing he didn't do was have a go at Kathleen Kennedy for putting a chick in it and making her gay. But I bet you if he'd had the opportunity, he possibly would have done. But he said everything about Marvel that we've been saying. So look, whereas I said last week, there is nothing that can save it, there is a very tiny, very small little fucking LED being powered by a little watch battery that's going blink, 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 and it's nearly fucking empty, but there is a light. Now, it's whether they can recharge that fucking battery or completely fuck it up, and it can go either way. There's no 2 ways about it. But that Hall H eruption yesterday was genuine, and people are glad to see him back.
Yeah,
I'm hoping it's a fucking double trick, because how the fuck, look, it's like casting Mark fucking Hamill as the Emperor, right? That's what it compares to, right? Oh, we're gonna do episode 10. Mark Hamill's back and he's playing Palpatine. It's like, and this is exactly what was announced yesterday. It is the equivalent.
This is why I'm like kind of. It sounds stupid and desperate, and that's what Marvel is at the moment, is stupid and desperate.
It could be. You absolutely could be right. But the Russo brothers coming back, they're not stupid and desperate. They said they weren't going to come back. Okay, arguably that what they've done since hasn't been all that well received, so maybe this could be a cash grab. But to not explain this, to make 2 films and not have an explanation for this, you've got to be so unbelievably out of touch and dumb. That
sounds like Disney Marvel.
It does.
So out of touch and dumb. Marvels.
And had I not watched Deadpool yesterday, I would have said absolutely.
But that was that was not Disney Marvel.
But they allowed it to happen. That they could still have blocked it. The film was only edited in the last few months, so they still allowed those comments in there, right? Regardless, they allowed them. Okay. Those comments went out, and they knew the likes of you and me and all the fucking YouTubers are going to jump on that and go, And so, is that sending a message without admitting that you're wrong? You're fucking right. It is. Yeah. So we don't know. Yes, they are capable of being that dumb. Absolutely, they are. Right, and I think they might be, but there is a very tiny light that they might not be.
I've got 5 years of them being dumb.
Yes, I agree.
I'm super skeptical about the whole thing.
For your skepticism, I don't blame you for your apathy at all. Disney did this, right? I when I started thinking about it, I was kind of like, But I admit that, seeing Robert Downey Jr. take that mask off, I thought, okay, it was I'd just come off seeing Deadpool, and I was kind of caught up in the emotion of it. But and I saw Galactus, and that was actually genuinely. We'll talk about it in a minute.
Okay, well, I haven't seen Galactus, so
they've taken the string down already. There might be another one on Facebook, but there was somebody streaming from in in Hall 8. Well, there's a couple of people, and I was watching it. And they showed us a shot. I'll tell you now, because they showed a shot, right, of a giant fucking dude in the suit, right, the comic book accurate, looking through an office window, and I was like, "Holy fuck, they're doing it! They're doing Galactus from the comics, as in a big fuck off dude, right?" So look again, and he was in the suit, dude. He was in the suit, so it was kind of like. And the actor that's playing him, I think, has got that deep voice for like a big dude. And he's staring through the window. I was like, huh. So again, as a geek, 5 years ago, we would have all been celebrating this shit, right? But you're right. Disney's done this. This is the problem. It could be too late. I don't blame anybody for feeling this way. I don't. I really don't.
All right. I think we've spoken enough. Let's move on to the next story.
Yeah, we've only done.
You're listening to the Monkey Nut Punch Podcast.
Fucking pulled. I had my notes up and then I clicked off of them like a bell end. So, Dexter Resurrections. The new installment promises to delve deeper into Dexter's psyche and his complex relationship with both his family and his darker side. The return of Michael C. Hall, along with the new narratives, is set to rekindle interest in the series amongst longtime fans and potentially attract new viewers. It's going to be a bit hard because he's dead.
Yeah, but from the trailer... No, right. This is what they're doing. He is Dexter's internal voice. So there's a trailer, it's brief, but Michael C. Hall is voicing Dexter's internal voice.
Okay. So this is the prequel thing with Sarah Michelle Gellar?
Yes.
Okay. Who's playing Dexter then?
So some dude, I don't know.
Some dude.
There is a trailer for it. But it's very brief. But what you hear his internal voice right? And his internal voice is Michael C. Hall, and that was the thing that I picked up on because I went, hang on, that's not that. That's Michael C. Hall. I know that voice.
Okay, in the notes it says it's Patrick Gibson. It also says Christian Slater is playing Harry Morgan. I approve of that. I hope it works out the way I want it to. But yeah, Patrick Dempsey is in there too. It's I don't. It. Do you remember when that period in like the mid to late noughties where everything was a prequel?
Yeah,
it feels like that. It really does feel like that. It feels like, hey, we're gonna prequelize whatever this is and do it that way. I'm interesting.
But Michael C. Hall is coming back, so that's lending some credence to it. But he is he's Dexter's internal voice. So when you hear sort of him thinking about shit, it's Michael C. Hall.
Okay.
So,
all right.
And the trailer's interesting. But you have to be a Dexter. I mean, the end of it is like he smiles, and you're like, it feels it kind of feels a bit Dexterish. The trailer did kind of work for me, to the point that I go, okay, I'm interested in seeing this. And when you hear they kept Michael C. Hall's involvement in it quiet, which is a feat. I have to say this year's Comic-Con has surprised me somewhat. There's been a few things, and there's things that haven't surprised me at all. But there are a few things that have surprised me this time. This was one of them. This was one of them.
I like Dexter. I did enjoy the New Blood series. I felt that it was much better than the last season of Dexter, which was a mess. And if you know anything about the story behind what happened, all the producers fucked off and left some person who's really wet behind the ears in charge, and that's why it turned into a total shit show. Which is not fun. It's like kind of it's not unlike Terry Metalis. Yeah, this poor person was handed the keys to the show, and so they end it on a high note like Terry Metalis did. They went, I have no idea what I'm doing. You were supposed to teach me, and didn't do a good job because, as I said before, if you wanted to do it, that the key thing would have had this season split into 3 distinct bits. Yeah, it would have been the setup for the first part of the season, where it looks like Dexter's going to get caught. The second part, where he's desperately avoiding getting caught. And then the third bit, where he gets discovered. And then the last third is him trying to get away. And it turns into like an escape kind of movie, that sort of thing. With him desperately trying to evade the police and this, that, and the other, and pulling tricks and that. Because that was always that one thing. Because it felt like a setup. Don't get caught, don't get caught, don't get caught. How are you going to end this? It's going to get caught. Isn't it? Which I think they missed a prime opportunity on, because the idea of having that kind of manhunt, that chase, and then having everyone react and seeing everyone react to the fact that Dexter is a serial killer, like kind of you have LaGuerta knowing that he set up Dokes, would have been a really good thing, because she would have been fucking gone after him hell for leather sort of thing. Angel, God knows how Angel would have reacted to it. And then you've got like his other, I can't remember his name, the Japanese fellow that he was working with, slightly creepy one. That would have worked, because that's kind of, it felt like it was from day one, it felt like it was going to be the natural conclusion. It was that, or he was going to go after some mafia boss and get killed. He would go after someone who was on the radar, because the police didn't get them and couldn't get them, and he felt like he was doing them a favour, and then gets killed off by some mafia boss. Only other option there, because it again kind of goes with the code. So this here, is it going to be set? It's going to be storyline wise, it's probably going to be him and Harry working together, and then Harry dying slowly, sort of thing. Storyline wise, that's what I'm thinking.
The trailer shows him graduating. That's the trailer. Him getting changed into his graduation stuff. But I was pleasantly surprised by it. Look, you were the biggest Dexter fan, but I was quite when I went it again, it's been a week of no fucking ways. When I heard Michael C's voice, I went, no fucking way, he's come back. That put a smile on my face. It's lent credence to this by doing. I think it's clever. I think it's a clever move. If the show turns out to be shit, then they've destroyed it. But it lends a bit of credence to it, and it's now made me go, actually, I'm going to watch the pilot and see if it's any good. So yeah, I'm good. I'm down for that. But yeah, you go, Michael C. Hall coming back. Only his voice though.
Only his voice.
Well,
all right, let's go on. Nigel.
Hi, this is Nigel, and I'm talking in my lovely narrator's voice. Bask in its loveliness. But don't bask for too long. We need your help. Come to YouTube and watch our videos for the love of God. Well, send Keith round to your next barbecue and he'll eat all your food. Toasty! You have been warned.
Right, so... Oh, balls, wrong page. I pulled up the wrong one. This is supposed to be the boys. Let's find my notes. Okay, here we go. The war between the land and the sea. This is a significant expansion of the Doctor Who universe, bringing back beloved characters and introducing new storylines, promising to deepen the series lore, with involvements for classic villains like the Sea Devils and returns of actors in much anticipated roles. So not fucking. I don't care.
No, I
it's really
don't.
Crap.
They're bringing back.
They screwed the pooch.
They're bringing back Martha's sister, who is actually just become a really annoying actress in everything she is. I mean, she was in obviously Loki season 1 and 2, and I just found her annoying. And I've seen her in a few other things, and I've just found her annoying. I put this in there because obviously they shared a panel with Star Trek, and there's some quite a lot of Star Trek news, but they announced a Doctor Who Star Trek crossover, and people thought it was going to be an episode. It's not. It's a mobile game.
Okay.
And I'm just like, what the fuck? It's going to be the Sea People, but again, I mean, it's not. I don't think it's being written by Russell T Davies, which is the only good thing going for it.
Oh, it's not. Oh, okay, that's fine.
But there is some rumors doing the rounds, right? Because Russell T Davies has come out and acknowledged. He said, even if we don't get Disney money for season 3, we'll just carry it on at the BBC. The rumor is that Disney want a season 3 of Doctor Who without Russell T Davies.
That doesn't sound like a problem to me, apart from who the fuck are they going to put in charge of it? Because there's only one person who they could put in charge of it, and he doesn't want to do it after Christmas. And he might have lost his mojo too.
I don't know. Is the honest answer. The BBC are interested in keeping the show running, but look, even the Disney is acknowledging how bad the ratings were. Long-time Doctor Who fans, and even the ones that liked it, most people have said it wasn't as good as his original run. Even the people that are liking it are saying that final episode was just take out all of Russell T Davies' imbecilic bloody politics, right? Objectively, that final episode was bad. Politics taken out of it, it was still bad.
Oh, it was just. My first problem is that Russell T Davies, and this is one of the reasons that I stopped watching it, said that he was going to lean more into fucking fantasy than into science fiction. Doctor Who's this was one of the 3 key science fiction franchises of all time, yeah? And to make it not science fiction is like saying McDonald's is now going to be serving fish burgers for fucking everything. We're going to sushi, guys. And it's like kind of, no, you're famous for selling beef burgers. Let's keep selling fucking beef burgers. That's the bit, I think, one of the things that put me off before we got to the super gayness that was injected into it. As soon as I heard that, that was the bit that probably put me more off as a viewer than anything else. And then the stupid, oh, we're going to have a fucking musical number with some goblins. And I'm like, okay, so no science fiction, goblins, blah, blah, blah. Singing Daleks next, Cybermen. They could do a great story about Cybermen and manufactured boy bands. That would work. Think about it.
Again, Disney have signed off on this. So I think this rumor has some credibility to it that actually Disney do want to do a season 3. No mention about Shuji Gatwa, but a lot of people are now beginning to say, "Look, he cried in every single episode."
Oh,
but they're not going to fire. They're not going to fire him. He's black
right.
and gay.
So,
I mean, he's
right.
the magic combination.
So, that got on my tits because it was like kind of the first gay kiss, and I saw it. I watched it, and then he cried after, and I'm like, "Oh, what the fuck?" Could have smiled or smirked or squeezed his ass or done something rather than bawl his eyes out.
I think, I mean, the thing is, I think Shuji Gatwa would have made a more interesting companion than a fucking doctor. But interestingly, Millie Gibson was there. So at the Comic-Con. So all these rumors about her being, replaced. Don't know if those were true. Season 2's already been filmed. Season 2
or they got pushed back.
Yeah.
And changed their mind because they hadn't done it.
Season 2 has been filmed, shot, and is in the can, right? So it's going to be more of the same. So don't hold your hopes out for season 2. The fact that this has been signed off, knowing how bad the ratings have been, is interesting. The fact that they've allowed the announcement to go ahead is interesting, considering if Disney were going to pull out, this probably wouldn't have been announced. So, I think we're going to see 2 seasons and Davis out on his ass, personally.
Yeah. And the thing is it's like kind of, who do they get to replace him? So the top of the list is Moffat, isn't it? Full stop. Yeah. Moffat was the one who... No, hang on a second. Moffat's the one who brought Doctor Who to the States. Yeah?
Yeah.
So... True. He's the one who did that, so to got that favourite. Then, next person on the list is Neil Gaiman, the most coddled writer in all of fucking history. Yeah. Which he's asked to be showrunner, and they've turned him down. He asked when Chris Chibnall was showrunner, and they turned him down. Do you think he might have knocked on Disney's door and turned around and goes, look at all the TV shows and stuff?
Having watched Good Omens 2, and making David Tennant and thingy, gay, which was never part of the story. They've, retro made those characters gay, which is, I think Terry Pratchett would be fucking turning in his grave.
Yeah.
In fact, I know Terry Pratchett would be turning in his grave over that. No, I don't think Neil Gaiman can run the show.
But that sounds very Disney.
Again, I don't think they're ever going to admit this, but I think they know. And there was something that somebody said. We had a writer's strike last year that basically put everything on hold for 9 months. All the projects that we are seeing released now, and all of these things have been in the can for 3 or 4 years. So this was at a time when 1 or 2 Marvel films had done badly. And they're going to put these projects out because they can't write them off for tax. So they're going to put them out and try and regain some cash. But again, somebody in Disney signed off on all that shit in Deadpool, right? Somebody did.
That was cheap.
Somebody signed off on it recently. They could have said, no, you're not saying that now, right? But they didn't. And there was stuff that I never thought I would see in a Disney movie Deadpool say in that film. So again, I'm just beginning to wonder if Iger has said several times, right, and has said it in thing. We are going to make entertainment again. right? Which is tantamount to admitting that they've been shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. The Robert Downey Jr. stuff stinks of desperation. I don't know. I've just got a feeling that we are beginning to. I maintain if Disney carried on the same trajectory, there ain't gonna be a Disney, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't guarantee. You know, one film they've got one hit this year, Inside Out 2, and about to have a second hit, because it's broken. Deadpool just smashed all the records.
Yeah.
And people are repeat viewing it over the weekend for different reasons. But I don't know. I think Disney know. And the fact that they're still interested in Doctor Who, people have been very passionate about it. People have been passionately, but we've been passionate about how much we hate it. But if we're being absolutely honest with ourselves, if they brought back good episodes, we would be joyous. We would be like Picard season 3. And I find it, the fact that this has been announced, I think it just lends credence to the rumor that Disney are going, yeah, we'll give you the money because we know that it is a valuable thing if it's done right.
So, as I said, it's who do you get to replace Russell T Davies with? The only other people on that list: Toby Whitehouse, Jamie Matheson. Maybe to get him back on the fucking writing staff is one. Let alone do that because these people can write. Yeah, so
Very Metalis.
He's not a Doctor Who sort of person. So, if that's the case, you can throw JMS in there because he'd want to write an episode. JMS would love to write an episode, and he can plot like bloody Moffat. That's the only other writer I know can plot like that, science fiction wise, and do that kind of those really kind of cool, intricate plots, and really dish it out. I don't know. I really don't know because I think hearing the fact that we're not leaning into science fiction and we've got a musical number was more putting off than the Doctor's Gay. Yeah, for me. The Doctor's Gay is irritating, but if you can put it in the storyline and make it right, not a problem. Having shit storylines, that's where I really draw the line. And then having shit storylines where the Doctor's gay and cries at everything. I stubbed my toe, the TARDIS won't open, the controlling it. And it's like, kind of, they left the pickles in my burger. That shit all the way through is annoying as all hell. Anyway, it's who they replaced Russell T Davies with is the question, yeah, because that's the trick, and that's where you have to start looking at these things. I think, in my heart, that Russell T Davies was like, kind of, fuck this shit, me and you Moffat, let's get a payday. Yeah, let's get a big payday out of this because we've done this in comparison to like our US brethren who are doing the US series. Paydays not as much. We've done a lot of stuff for TV. We need to get, cash out and retire. That's what my gut tells me. And given the quality of everything, but
you could be right. I don't know. It's been an interesting week in terms of things that have happened, as I said, that have surprised me this week. I've just seen, actually, we don't usually do the comments, but that last comment, maybe.
We'll get to
maybe.
comments in a bit. Get to comments in a bit. And that deserves one of these.
Whatever.
The expanding universe of The Boys is promising more dark humor, social commentary, exploring complex characters within the satirical superhero universe. Fans can look forward to seeing these new stories intertwine with the existing Boys narrative. Do we care? Do we bloody care?
I think it's
seriously.
I think it's.
I think it's. Unless all of a sudden they've done something to knock out their stupid leanings, and understand that you should be playing to the entire audience rather than just a small subset, and I think that's That's one thing I've learnt recently when it comes to producing any kind of entertainment. Yeah, we used to complain that sometimes you get a piece of entertainment and it was too broad. Yeah, so that those big brainless popcorn blockbusters were too broad and weren't engaging enough with people. Yeah, they haven't done that in 7 years. Yeah, so 7 years of not doing that and focusing on these little niche groups and then going, well, it should sell, all the marketing data sells. Yeah, you want to hear something funny, actually, talk about marketing data. A guy in Nintendo who's responsible for Super Smash Brothers came out and did a video of why using marketing to figure out your key audiences doesn't work in video game development. In Japanese, he went through it and he just showed, because all you're doing is you're chasing the shadow of something else and you're not innovating, and because you're not innovating, no one's going to be interested in what you're doing. So you should start with this is going to be fun, this is going to be entertaining, and that's the same here. If it is fun and it is entertaining and it's not, and it is broad, then I think it might work. But from what I've seen, nah.
I think season 4's done a lot of damage. They're going to do a season 5, but you and I have spoken about this over the last couple of podcasts. I think season 4 was so on the nose, and as I said, I actually think you can, and I'm not going down the political view. You can have whatever view you like, right? You're entitled to that, but to literally call over half of America Homelander fans, which is effectively what they fucking did in that thing. It's just wrong. It's morally wrong. And when they announced this, I thought that's interesting because I think it's going to flop hard. The reason Gen Z did well because at the point the politics was only light in season 3 of The Boys, and people and Gen Z people hadn't had The Boys
Gen
for a while. What's it called?
Gen V for Vought. Even though it's probably supposed to be called the G-Men, but they wouldn't call it the G-Men because it was supposed to be like a piss take on the X-Men.
People, and there wasn't a huge amount in Gen V, and then season 4 of The Boys happened, and they will do a season 5. This series is going to feed into season 5 because obviously the way season 4 ends. But I have to question whether I'm going to bother with season 5 of The Boys. The more I think about it, the more I do not like the morals of the people making it. I just don't.
Yeah, it's annoying because I love The Boys first season 1. That was brilliant. Then season 2 kind of went a bit surprise woman, and then season 3 went surprise woman, and this one went surprise. You're all bigots for having different views, and I'm like, okay. I think surprise woman is a bit more acceptable.
It won't surprise fascist, because what it's saying is, if you don't like my view, you're wrong, and you're all lists, which is actually a very fascist view when you think about it.
Yeah, it's incredibly intolerant because other people have other views, and I will give J.K. Rowling as an example for this. J.K. Rowling has different views. I don't like those different views, but she should be allowed to express them, and we can all go, okay, we know what you think. Thank you very much. Like with us, yeah, you've got views which I think are fucking drop dead stupid, and we've argued for hours, and we've argued for hours in my living room downstairs. I think it was before you left for Thailand. I'm not saying that precipitated you leaving for Thailand, but we've had those arguments where we've gone on for hours because two of us have had opposing views, and it's never, what do you call it? It was never anything in regards to.
I've never called you a bigot.
You never called me a bigot. You may call me stupid, and that's wrong, but you never called me a bigot. Yeah. Which I'm grateful for. So we had lots of different views on things, and we still got on. And
because
I struggle with people not doing that now.
Despite having different views, we come from the school where we know that you're entitled to it, and we come from the school that you shouldn't be. you shouldn't be, vilified for it, and that's exactly what Boys season 4 did, and it's dangerous, right? And I keep saying this is dangerous, and people go, "Oh, it's only entertainment," but it's not.
Oh no, hang on a second. It's dangerous that they keep portraying a certain candidate as a fascist and Hitler, even though clearly he's not.
I know.
It's like kind of how he would have kept control because he got voted out and accepted it, even though he didn't admit it. He still accepted it and walked away. And yeah, well, that's shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Please spare me from this shit.
I know, and this is why I think this spin-off, but it is going to fail. But it was announced, and I found it interesting, so I stuck it in there.
Okay.
Is that the Star Trek news in there?
That's the next. That's next on the thing. If you can see the thing, but you know what? Because of that, I think we need some of this. Anyway, it's quite enough of that.
Just before you do this story, because that just put a thought into my. Sydney Sweeney announced she's going to continue to do nude scenes, and she doesn't care what you think. Love you, Sydney. Just saying.
If you've got it,
we already had too much to put that story in it, and I saw it after I sent you the news, where she's going to continue to do nude scenes.
Okay, that's good. I haven't got around to updating that with Sydney Sweeney, which I've been meaning to do. All right, so Star Trek universe aims to delve into the education and development aspects of Starfleet. Well, oh fuck, I'm supposed to read the title. Star Trek Academy. But this is going to be shit, Keith.
I know, but all these people that told me you don't know what Star Trek Academy is going to be. Star Trek Academy is it's the continuing fucking adventures of Tilly. I told you. All these wankers that are fucking commenting every time I've said this, it's just Discovery Part fucking 2. It's the continuing adventures of the worst Discovery character.
Do you want the really? The second season where they're doing their PT and they're running around the deck, and somehow she's ahead of everyone else. And I really wanted just to cut in. She completes it and turns around and I wanted to go, look, you divvy bitch, you got 5 more laps to do. That was just the first. They finished. Because that was, and that actress, I feel bad for her because Mary Wiseman, I think her name is, she is, how can I put it? She's just been expanding since season 1. Season 1, she's a bit podgy, but she gets to the end of season 2. She's like Jabba the Hutt's fucking favourite niece.
I mean, putting Robert Picardo in this, it's just like, oh,
that's a very, how can I put it? There are a couple of characters you can get away with. The problem we've got here is that this is Starfleet Academy set in the far, 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 far future, isn't it?
The one where they've destroyed all the Star Trek, made Earth into isolationists. The Federation's headquarters is no longer on Earth because they're all a bunch of racist isolations. You know, funny enough, all the people that were in that Earth were white.
But wasn't the president Stacey Abrams or something who was a failed gubernatorial thing for Pennsylvania or some state that I can't remember?
They've announced this, and this is going ahead because they've already poured loads of money into it. The only thing that bloody lends any credibility to it is Paul Gambaccini is in it, and I kind of like him as an actor. And Robert Picardo is going to be in it. But look at its Discovery cast in it. It's Discovery. It's in the Discovery universe where they completely fucking destroyed the hope of the Federation. This is the thing that this fucking Kurtzman does not get, right? And I'm telling you, he's a nasty human being because he doesn't understand that the Star Trek was about hope. Right?
Did you say the Star Trek?
It's literally the embodiment of hope.
Yes,
right?
it is supposed to be a hopeful.
Right, and this is why Prodigy is so fucking good because it knows that. And what did Kurtzman do? Cancel it. And it really makes me angry because season 2 of Prodigy is some of the fucking best Star Trek in years, right? And they were forced in the last 15 minutes. And you know they were forced to do it because they get away with something at the end. And again, I think it was one of those, they're not looking, let's just write this in. They were forced to do the Mars attack from Picard season 1, right? At the end of Prodigy, and turn the fucking Federation into a bunch of isolationists. Mars was attacked, so we can't do any more. It's totally stupid. We can't do any more exploration, because we haven't got like 1,000 odd ships, so we can't do that. We're gonna have to go no more exploration, no more of that kind of stuff. We're gonna have to protect the Federation thing. And Janeway goes, "Fuck you," basically, and then she puts the crew on the Protostar and they're carrying on thingy. Which I loved. I fucking loved it. That series, that Janeway makes a speech about halfway through, and it genuinely had me in tears. And if you watch the speech, you will be touched by it. It's genuinely emotional, genuinely Star Trek, right? Yeah. Full of hope. That's Star Trek. Not this crappy below fucking deck stuff that looks and has loads of memory berries in it. And if you're a Star Trek fan, oh, I love it. But no, you love member berries. You don't love this. It's irritating. If you're not American, that series is one of the most irritating fucking series on the planet. Then you've got Discovery, total shit. And now we've got, Strange New Worlds. Again, we like the characters, but we've now got them dressing up as Vulcans. And what do they do when they become Vulcans? They start fucking telling Spock that he's only half Vulcan, so you're not as good as us. So they've turned Vulcans into ists. That's the clip from Strange New Worlds.
I'd just like to point out the Vulcans are very logical, yeah? So the way that Vulcans would be the ists would be, we'd all make a decision on something and they'd turn around and say, your logic may be flawed because you're half human. That's the extent of their racism.
They kind of do
and
that,
we've seen that.
You've got to watch it. It's dreadful. But they've released a 5-minute clip from Strange New Worlds, and it's, oh god. You don't get Star Trek. Prodigy, whoever did Prodigy, got Star Trek, right? Understands Star Trek, right? And you cancelled it. Netflix, please give me a season 3 of this because it was fucking fantastic, right? And what did they showed off that fucking Section 31 film, which just looks meh, right? And no Legacy. Now, the rumor is they're doing a Picard film. That's Legacy. That Metalis is going to be making the next Made For thing, and it's going to be a Legacy. It's going to be a Picard movie. That's how they're going to do it. Bullshit. No one asked for Academy. It's going to be one season and done. Right? Because you're not even owned by Paramount anymore. You've been bought by Skydance. They're going to look at this and go, you spent all this money on it. Where's the views? None.
Oh, that's good. I forgot that. I forgot that.
This is Kurtzman trying to build up thing for it, and it's not going to work because this is Discovery.
I heard the joke that the Kurtzman advice to Russell T Davies, going back to a Doctor Who story, was announce loads of stuff, they can't cancel you. Because that's Kurtzman and Kathleen Kennedy's approach. And almost Kevin Feige's approach. But the difference is Kevin Feige can actually fucking deliver. And it's crap.
Academy is going to be a one season and done, unless Gambaccini is going to bring in the names. Old Trekkies are going to watch it because Rob Picardio, he was way better in season 2 of Prodigy, way better. In fact, his last moments were pure Doctor. Whoever wrote that loved Voyager, and look, I know that Voyager wasn't everybody's cup of tea, but this was a love letter. This season 2, I finished it this week because I've taken my time watching it because it was so enjoyable. It was just a love letter. Even Wesley was good. Even he was good. So, anyway, yeah, fuck you, Kurtzman.
All right, I think it's this then. that's. I'm glad because that works on the audio level and on a visual level, and it's like the what's you call it, Rebecca Ferguson thing. You can kind of get it through the music, but you can't quite see or appreciate the visuals, if that makes sense. But that one works. This iteration of the Fantastic Four aims to blend. Sorry, fuck me. Marvel's Fantastic Four titled film, blah blah blah. 60s retro view, blah blah blah. You saw Galactus, blah blah blah. This is gonna be why. That's my question. It's why. Why have you chosen not to put this into the universe? What they could have done is they could have done it very simple. They could have had it say, you had the Fantastic Four, they went out to do some kind of spacey experiment, they shot off at the speed of light, and because of relativity, they turned round, came back, and it was, oh my god, so many years had passed, sort of thing.
They did one cool thing, right? And Chuck, get excited because it was kind of a droney thing. They announced, they were talking about it, right? And they were talking it's going to be retro 60s futuristic thing, right? And I know how they do it, but they had the car, and obviously they fill the car with helium, right? And it floats, right? You've seen like flying cars before. They had the car and it went over the stage and it had little drone engines on. Obviously, that's the drone connection. That I have to admit, having got some of sort of like the old school Fantastic Four comics, it was cool seeing that on stage. Seeing that, but they've announced that these guys are going to be in the Avengers movies. How?
Again, science
the Doctor
experiment.
Doom will be the end credit thing in this movie. And Rebecca Kirby, what's her face? Vanessa Kirby's ruined her face.
Yeah.
She's done the same as that Starlight girl. Looking cheekbones up here. It's like, what? Downey, you were gorgeous. What have you done? Should be illegal.
Yeah. That's
she's
not
ruined,
right.
she's ruined her face. But I don't know. I like who's playing Johnny Storm. Actually, he came out with short hair and was a bit cocky. And I went, okay, I understand, right? You as Johnny Storm, I get it now. I can see it. I see it, right? I do not get what's his Reed. I do not get that. I did get.
I don't get that either.
Vanessa Kirby, Susan Storm ruined her face slightly, but I get that, and I kind of get the guy playing the Thing because I've watched him in The Bear, and I'm like, okay, he does aggression quite well. Get it. Basically Neil is the Thing. Neil is a friend of ours that looks a bit like this guy. I get it, right? Okay. I do not get Reed Williams. I do not get it. I do not get that casting at all. And it stood out. It stood out in this. It's like the other three kind of work.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
Oh dear.
But you're right, 60s. I don't get it. But they showed Galactus. Galactus looked cool. Galactus did look cool. Galactus did look cool.
What do you call it? I'm so... I when it comes to anything Marvel, I'll be honest with you, kind of looking more forward to some of the James Gunn stuff for DC more than Marvel stuff, because I know that he can deliver me films, and I was thinking about, what was it? Peacemaker the other day, especially that intro with the dancing, and I was thinking how much I enjoyed that, and he was responsible for that, and if he can deliver me something like that, then I'm going to be fine entertainment wise.
Peacemaker season 2, I didn't put that in because I knew that we are going to have to talk about Deadpool, and I knew it was going to take us ages to get through the fucking news, which it has, right? Peacemaker season 2 is coming. The surprise was that what's his face, the one that he killed, you know, the guy that was in charge, played by the guy that was in the first season of that. Oh, what's his name? He played RoboCop. He was the new RoboCop, and then he was in that kind of Blade
Rick
Runner
Flag
thing. He is back. How? Yeah. I don't know. Bearing in mind that Peacemaker killed him, right? But he's coming back. We
also know that his father also fucked with his head too, so he's in there too, which would be interesting. I want to know, this is the real thing, because they did Wigwam, do you want to taste it? I want to know what the new song's going to be and what the new dance routine's going to look like. Because that brings that put you in such a good mood to watch that, because you've got that lovely happy tune and them dicking around with that stupid dance routine. It put you in a real kind of nice frame of mind to watch it, and I want to see what happens with that.
Reminded me of my missus almost getting up and dancing to the beginning of Deadpool yesterday because she loves the fucking tune.
Oh, what the in sync bit where he's killing the TVA?
I thought it was brilliant. I have to admit, yeah. But I love the dance routine from Peacemaker. I generally do as well.
All right.
I don't know. Superman, they did a trailer to Lois and Superman, and obviously doing Doomsday with him being dead at the beginning. I do like that version of Superman, so I don't know if I'm gonna like the new Superman, because I kind of like the Lois and Clark Superman.
Yeah,
I generally do like him. But anyway, let's talk about fucking Deadpool. Or have we got one more?
No.
Oh yeah, we got to do the comments. Forgot about that.
We've been on long. We usually do about 40 minutes of news, but we're 20 minutes over. So,
Comic-Con.
Buffer gets the gold medal this month. This podcast. Sorry, this podcast. I'm sure that Ryan Reynolds has got some joke about that. What's this? Hang on. And let me get my shoes. I missed a joke there.
Oh, no, let me get my shoes is what Biff is calling himself.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I was thinking, was he leaving? It's like I was just going to pop in quickly and go, okay, fair enough. I'm the dude that plays the dude disguised as another dude.
I still love the fact...
As usual...
Biffer, it's funny you should mention that, because they're still having a go at that film for Robert Downey Jr. blackfacing, and Ben Stiller this week defended it again. These people are morons. The fucking joke was that it was bad. It's the whole fucking point that they're making. Idiots. Anyway, Gareth, have you gone, or has your camera gone?
My battery ran out on my camera. Oh, I thought I charged it. I went and charged it up, yeah, and it said it was full. It must be the battery actually going.
You need to power it via USB. That's what I do.
I know. I need to power it by USB. Who are you, my mum? So anyway, Chuck, the YouTube notification bell is selectively not notifying me. Twitch, subscribe to us on Twitch because they do notifications really well. And hello, Chuck. Oh well, here he goes. Biff is backing me up. Yeah, I used the Twitch notification for it, and that works. And the missus is in there. I'm gonna get shit for the not the Sydney Sweeney, the Rebecca Ferguson thing.
Get more shit for the Sydney Sweeney. I'll make it.
Okay, to make sure, I have to give you that piece of music though for it to work. So we got that there, and yeah, just complaining about this stuff here. We've got some people saying hello to each other. I like Michael Seatle carries his own box. I like that Michael C. Hall carried his own box out with his name on it at the comic. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I get it now. When he said carried his box out, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Cool. It doesn't matter who's in charge. The industry's broken and rotten to the core. He's got a point.
Yes.
Can't argue with that, really. Charlie Brooker's Black Mirror showrun could be the best choice for Doctor Who. No, he fucking can't. Why? I've got lots of. I'm sorry. Just no.
Has he gone political?
No. Oh, dude, he's been fucking political for years. I mean, years, ever since Black Mirror took off. Seriously, the second season of Black Mirror is when he went not very good. So yeah, we've got Eddie Remain.
I think that's somebody doing sales. I think it's a spam.
That's fine. I was expecting Easy Comes on Twitch first. Kind of editing and popping in and out here. I need to watch. That's fine. Do what you need to do. And this is Mrs. talking about the dance routine in
It is.
Peacemaker, which
I agree.
it is. It is really good. So let's dial the music down. It's time to talk about Deadpool.
Come on then.
Spoiler warning! Everybody who has not seen Deadpool, I will say it again. Spoiler bloody warning. All right, so let's hang on a second.
What are you doing? You put this
I have
spoiler
to stick my
warning,
tongue out.
spoiler warning, spoiler warning.
Okay, so
I avoided the internet for 2 days, so I didn't get spoilers.
Oh fuck! I put it in the wrong bit. I'm supposed to put it on the ticker. Shit. Just talk, Keith. Keep it busy.
Well, am I allowed to spoil it first? I think this is going to be one of the ones where Gareth and me are going to have some slight, like, not disagreements, but I liked it. I'm sorry, I enjoyed it. I had fun. I laughed my fucking tits off. I know that it wasn't the greatest story. I know that the bad guy, but I fucking loved it. Like I like the fact that of all the Deadpools, there was a Welsh Deadpool. I love that little nod. Right?
Yeah, I like
baby
that
Deadpool. Baby Deadpool was his infant son. Right? Really? Blake Lively was Lady Deadpool, so you called it. She's in the credits. My wife and I loved the dog, and the bit where Wolverine holds up the dog and everybody stops worrying. She was falling about laughing. I loved it. Yeah, sorry. For me, real name Peggy, but Dogpool was awesome. And if we get another man dog, we're going to call it Dogpool.
Dogpool.
Yeah.
All right, so it's the third best Deadpool film.
I knew you were going to say that.
It's the third best Deadpool film. I went into Deadpool Wolverine. I'll be honest with you, I had a really bad day and I was desperate for some humor to try and pick me up, and the humor didn't land, and I think I laughed 3 times out loud in the cinema, and none of the other fuckers in the cinema laughed.
I was laughing.
So it's like I watched the first Deadpool, with my brothers, and every joke, everybody was laughing. We were in hysterics, and it was painful. The second one, there were laughs, not as many as there was for the first one, but there were laughs. This one, three bits that I laughed at. There were lots of member berries and bits in there, which I'm a bit against. Really slow start. As a film, it was entertaining. As a Deadpool film, it was okay. Does that make sense?
I think I laughed more than you, and I wonder if you watch it again that you won't laugh more. Because I thought the dog was funny. I thought some of I thought the fucking cutscene at the end had me in tears. I loved the fact that they got Chris Evans in it. I laughed when they killed him, and said the budget couldn't afford it. I laughed at most of the shit when he was giving Disney. The bit where he was talking about T-boning somebody, he goes, "That's new for Disney," and looks at the camera. The bit where he says pegging, that was it. The bit where he has a go at like multiverses. The bit where he says to fucking Wolverine, "You've joined at a low point." I thought, oh. that was a fucking, and it's comments like that he got away with. You joined at a low point. It's almost like people are, all that roasting that he did was allowed in there. But it's funny. I purposely ignored the internet. I was saying to you just before. I watched like Heel versus Babyface, and I was watching ads, and we both said exactly the same thing. In fact, I said it audibly, right? When I saw what's her face come on as Elektra, I was like, first reaction was, "You're quite old now, but damn, you look fine." Right? And I kind of cheered for it, and I went, "Oh, that's kind of cool." Right? I mean, I know the movie was terrible, but it's kind of cool to see it back, right? Then the next person walks in, and I just went, "No fucking way!" And what's more, not only was he seriously fucking cool, right? He fucking good, but it was the next one that surprised me the most, right? Because like I thought it was like Channing Tatum.
You should tell the people who you're talking about, Keith, rather than the next one.
Right, so Channing Tatum comes in, right, and I went, hang on, and that's the first because I saw his face before I looked at the costume, and when I saw the costume, I went, holy shit, that's Gambit. Right, that's the unproduced, cancelled Gambit movie that Channing Tatum was going to play Gambit, and I've got to say, Gambit was really fucking cool.
Gambit was fucking hilarious because when I say hilarious, I didn't like. No one laughed. No one laughed. There were jokes, but I must have been with a group of fucking curmudgeons because sometimes
you were.
If the audience laughs, you laugh with it. If it makes any sense, yeah. But the way it was just like Deadpool, he was saying stuff, and Deadpool was going, "Have you got any idea what he's fucking saying?" Because it was this weird Creole accent.
It was the meta. It was the meta-ness of it. He goes. He says you need to fire your fucking accent coach. It was the meta-ness that made me laugh. Right? And I knew Weapon X was in it, so I knew that Daphne Keane was coming in. But I mean, Wesley Snipes. Fuck that! It was so good to see him. When they're going through all the fucking Wolverines, right? Again, I like the fact that everybody's going, "Oh, Henry Cavill should play Wolverine," and they fucking got him in there, right? As Henry Cavill has like one fucking line, but I was like, again, no fucking way, Henry Cavill is Wolverine. I like the fact that they did that. I like the fact that I was saying because I knew right when I heard the voice, I went, "Fuck me, that's Chris Evans," and I went, "Hang on a minute," and I said, my wife went, "Oh, it's Captain America." I went, "No, it's not." And she's like, "Yeah, it's Captain America." I went, "Yeah, it's the actor that played Captain America, but he's not Captain America." And when he goes, everybody and Deadpool goes, Avengers Assemble, I went, "Flame on," like that. And he went, "Flame on," and my wife went, "How did you know?" I said, "Because he's Johnny Storm."
Yes.
And I thought that's cool. And again, when he dies in a really gruesome way. And Deadpool goes, "Well, you should have seen what he was doing to the budget." Yeah, I found that funny. I really enjoyed it. I know it's the third best. If we're looking at it narratively, story-wise, it is the third best.
I did like the fact that at the beginning he had taken Cable's time travel device and he'd clearly been Deadpooling around with it, because that's why you got certain people who survived where they shouldn't have survived, and it's like it's because I've been using Cable's time travel device that the TVA were after him, because no, we don't care about that. He should have killed the TVA. He should have brought that Dimension Ripper to the TVA and just destroyed it, because it's just done everyone a big favour.
Piss over Loki at the ending of Loki season 2.
That's fine. Keith, describe the opening scene in reference to Logan, and tell me if that wasn't taking the piss, but done in such a fucking amusing way.
Yeah, but that I knew he was going to do that. I knew. So the minute he saw Wolverine in the X, I went, "Oh God, he's going to desecrate the body. Right. He's going to start using."
No, hang on a second. He turned around and said, "Look, it goes. We're not going to desecrate or undo the fact that Wolverine did this, that, and the other." Yeah, he goes, "We're going to honour his memory," and then he digs him up and he goes, "You're really fucking dead," like that, and then he's sitting next to him. He's pulled his fucking skeleton out. He's got his adamantium skeleton there next to him, and he's like, well, didn't see that one coming. You actually died. And then the TVA show up, and then he uses his corpse as a weapon to kill the TVA, because in the trailer
it's shown this when he's got the fucking knife up to the TVA guy's ass and he's trying to shake him off. How did you not find that funny?
No one in the cinema was laughing at that.
I was pissing myself.
No one in my cinema was laughing at that, and that's like, okay, fair enough. And he's doing it all to NSYNC.
It's brilliant. This is the thing. To me, that was one of the best. It might be the third best Deadpool film, but that was the best opening. And the fact that he does it in sync with the music and he does it in sync with the flying in credit, I loved it. I loved the choice of music. I loved that. The opening. It didn't feel slow to me, but I understand what people are saying that was a slow starting. Maybe because that was the one thing I had already heard. and was expecting it. But again, there was lots of gags in there. I'd already seen the cocaine gag, but when it was fully fleshed out, it did make
I
me
was a
giggle
little
again.
annoyed that I saw that gag beforehand. I wish that they would have used some uncut bits from that gag as the trailer and then used the full-blown thing there, because it kind of ruined that for me, because I've seen that. And I think that's I think I had an issue with the trailer because I avoided all the spoilers that weren't those two trailers that were put out. Yeah? Oh, no, actually, there's a lie. There's a third thing with the fight versus Wolverine versus Sabretooth.
Yeah, but nobody saw that coming, and he just chops his head off. But again, when he recruits that Wolverine, the fact that he turns around, and you see like Wolverine pass out, and he's spinning around. He goes, "Oh, that's cool." 20 fucking years it's taken. I had the camera. I went, "Oh yeah, it's the suit." What I was not expecting was the full cow. Right, and when he flips that fucking over, I was just like, "Oh my god, it does actually fucking work!" And
the downside is like the eyes were out every so often, so you get a shot where the eyes weren't quite as good as Deadpool's eyes, and that was annoying because it was like one shot perfect, other shot a bit wonky, and then sorry special effects people, I know you work hard, but someone dropped the fucking ball there.
I mean, I look it. I don't know what it was. Maybe I was in a good mood, whatever. I really enjoyed it. It's the first Marvel movie I've enjoyed since Spider-Man 3. I was falling about laughing. Maybe it's because it's the first movie I've seen for ages with my wife, but my wife really enjoyed it. We could not stop laughing when Wolverine picks up the dog and everybody stops firing. And that dog, bless her, ugliest dog in the world, but she was gorgeous. And the bit where the dog keeps licking him. And I know the story, they had to put salmon fucking paste to get the thing, to get the dog to lick him like that. And like Hugh Jackman's just ripping into him. Because, we had to go through scene after scene after scene of that dog just fucking... But Ryan Reynolds genuinely loves dogs. And, I mean, like, the fucking dog's gone on the worldwide tour. Right? And we just... the goggles that the dog was wearing? Our dog likes to stick her fucking head out the window all the time when we go on trips, but she's got really bad eyes. So we bought a pair of goggles that you can carry on sticking her head and it won't fuck with her eyes. She's got the same fucking goggles. I'm seriously. My next dog is called Dog Paw. I'm fucking naming it Dog Paw.
All right, so just one thing. There's a bit where they definitely filmed in fucking Surrey.
Yes.
Because I was looking at, they're walking to a field. It's like they went from the deserts of the Outlands in whatever where the TVA dump yard is, to them walking in this lovely leafy green area, and I'm like, kind of, because it might be a bit near Wales, maybe not Surrey, but definitely not. Normal kind of US area, and that was a bit mad. That's when they met Nice Paul with the dog. That's
my wife didn't know what he looked like. She didn't know right. She goes, "That is makeup he's wearing." I said, "Don't you know who Ryan?" I said, "You know the guy with long hair? It's the same dude." She went, "Oh, he's handsome." I went, "Yes."
That's why it's so funny.
Again, that is why it's funny. And. I mean, the Canadian joke as well. And he fucking rips into the game for the Canadian joke. I think you need to watch it again because I think you missed a lot of like jokes that do.
Oh, land. No. I saw the humor. It just wasn't landing with my audience. As I said before, because there was time where I laughed out loud. I laughed out loud 3 times, really, just me on my own. And I felt very insecure doing it. And that was when Nice Paul gets shot. And he goes, just regenerate like that. He goes, regenerate? And it's like, and I laughed at that really loud. And the other bit is where Blind Al just turned around and goes, I wish I was deaf. Just when the fight breaks out. That made me laugh. I can't remember what the other one that made me. Well. There was another point where I laughed, and I laughed out loud. I think my audience was a shit audience to be with. Because I did laugh out loud at 3 things, and they didn't. And I felt very, it's like kind of... the odd man out sort of thing.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but I mean, I've been living in this country and going to watch movies in this country for years, so I've got used to not being insecure and laughing at jokes that don't translate well. Although the translation, they've obviously spent money because my wife was laughing a lot as well. And I said, do you understand why that's funny? And she says, yeah, the translation's actually really good. And there were some like nuanced jokes that they had managed to translate it well into Thai. So she got the jokes. And again, it's the first time I've been excited about and had that geek excitement. And just Wesley Snipes coming onto the screen, that fucking did it for me. I have not felt like that since seeing fucking Tobey Maguire turn up in Spider-Man 3, and they were really look. It was pure fucking fan service, this film, and you can say it's the third best because it is, but fan service wise, it was the movie we needed.
So. Just a quick note. The other time that I laughed is when he was the car salesman and he's got the kids in the back and he's swearing because that was just so inappropriate. And I think that's probably when I went to go and laugh, and then I realised no one else was laughing. It was just me on my own.
But again, that gag pays off when they eventually get back using Strange's ring and they fall on the car, and like the parents are horrified. The kids are like, Wolverine, Deadpool, cool. And I was like, yeah, I feel like that. I feel like that kid, and
I really like the bit where Wesley Snipes is like kind of, there'll only ever be one blade, and Deadpool looks at the screen and I'm like, and you know what? I think there might be only ever be one blade. I would bring back Wesley fucking Snipes.
They didn't touch on it in Hall H, and I'm kind of glad they look. I like the actor that they cast as thing, but again, Wesley.
Oh, he's going to get fucked, and because he's a proper actor and he likes to do proper bloody roles. The reason that it's being held up is the fact that he's looking at these scripts, going, "Why are you paying me for this?" And good on him for doing that. Good on him for having some bloody integrity. Well done. So the other thing too is, did it kind of feel like an epilogue? And the reason I say an epilogue is when it gets to the end, it has like the history of everything that isn't Marvel MCU, yeah, as in all those films, and it's got bits from filming the X-Men and this, that, and the other, and it felt like this was the goodbye to the Fox.
Oh, it was definitely the goodbye, and the tribute they pay at the end was emotional and it was nice. The fact that Chris Hemsworth was a filmed cameo, it was Chris Hemsworth, that was new footage. The fact that they touched on it more than once, of Chris Hemsworth and Thor team up, means that they are going to use Deadpool as a character in the Avengers. He's going to turn up in the Avengers movie.
Now,
spoilers.
Are they gonna do the thing, the hidden origin of why Venom is so fucking crazy from Battleworld? Because the story why Venom's crazy, don't you?
I think so, and it is to do with Battleworld, if I remember.
Yeah, so Spider-Man needs to get a new suit, yeah? His suit's broken, so he goes to a machine and uses a machine to give him a new suit. It turns out to be the Venom symbiote, the alien costume, yeah? Now, the hidden story is that someone wore that suit before Peter got hold of it. That person was Deadpool. And that, bonding with Deadpool, made the Venom symbiote slightly fucking nuts.
It's whether Sony's going to give them Venom to use in these Avengers movies. Clearly, Spider-Man's going to turn up, right? So they better do Spider-Man 4 before 2026. Although I think that is going to be the precursor to Avengers. So spoilers, people. I think Spider-Man's coming out in the spring of 2026 because they didn't announce what that movie is, and we got 3 movies coming out that year. So I think we're going to get Spider-Man 4. I think we're going to get Deadpool in there, but more to the point, I think we're going to get Wolverine in it, and it's going to be Wolverine in the suit, and I'm down for it. I like the fact that Hugh Jackman played the character straight throughout the movie. That's what made it more funny, right? And the fact
he did have a few comic moments when he was drunk.
Yes, but again, it was done in a straight way. I like the fact he played a serious deadpan Wolverine, and it worked. Like, I laughed out loud again. This is another moment when I laughed out loud. Was after they're fighting the car and it cuts to them and Deadpool's wrapped in every single fucking seatbelt in the car. Again, I found that funny, right? And I laughed at it. My wife laughed at it. A few people around me laughed at it. I think they were laughing at me laughing at so many of the fucking jokes. Although my wife is a very loud laugher, and she was laughing equally, and not at me. She was getting the jokes. She is a secret geek. She doesn't admit it, but she is. But again, I think the thing that made us laugh the most was the dog and holding out the dog. Wolverine holding up the dog again, deadpan holding up the dog and looking absolutely disgusted with himself walking with the dog like that. Again, it worked for me. That made me laugh.
What was it when he holds up Nice Paul? You're gonna make it. You're gonna make it, and then his head explodes.
And then Peter turning up in the Deadpool suit with it not fully buttoned up. I know the problem. And then all Deadpool stopping, going, Peter, like again. I laughed at that. I enjoyed it. That's all I'm going to say. I can stand back and say it is the third best. That I agree with you on. But it was the movie we needed, and you know, I had a geek boner for the first time in years. And it was a proper moment. And I love the fact that Az had the same reaction as me. When Snipes walked on, if you had asked me who was going to cameo in, that was the last person. And the fact that I managed to avoid that was a generally wow moment. And even my wife was like, you know, she'll tell you, because I out loud went, no fucking way. Like that. And she knew who it was, and I'll give her dues. She knew the character, and I was just cool seeing Wesley Snipes. It was just cool. It was fucking cool.
Do you remember when Twilight was a thing?
Yes.
Okay, so there was a great meme of, I think it's Edward and Bella. What is their name from Twilight? Is it Bella? Might be. And it's like you got the two of them, and then you got Wesley Snipes standing behind them. And I'd send that to all everyone who was a Twilight fan, just to wind them up. And went, oh, this is what happens. And it's like kind of just have him turn up and just eradicate them all. I have to go back and watch those Blade films because they were good.
Yeah,
they were really good.
Ryan Reynolds is in one of those as well.
Yeah, his third one, Hannibal Caine.
Yeah, and I like the personal side of it. The fact. In those Deadpools, there were lots of sort of personal nods to Ryan Reynolds. Like you had the Welsh Deadpool with the Welsh flag on his fucking Deadpool. Yeah. I don't know what that was a connection to. I didn't know, but genuinely, that's his son, his infant son. The minute because they made it when they first turn up in and they meet Nice Paul, and he makes the comment about his wife just having given birth. I went, okay, Lady Deadpool is Blake Lively because she literally has just given birth. So I knew that Lady Deadpool was going to be Blake Lively, but I love the fact that it's his infant son. I just think that's great. And there was lots of people that voiced some of those Deadpools, quite famous people, but I've forgotten who they were. But there was people that voiced the various Deadpools that had uncredited cameos.
Do you know what made me laugh is when they fucking finished them all off. And I was like, give it a moment, they're just going to regenerate. And then they all got up, and it was like, fuck. Cassandra Nova. I quite enjoyed her as a bad guy.
Yes.
It was just very simple. It's like kind of, she's evil. Just imagine Charles Xavier and the complete fucking opposite, and that's Cassandra Nova. Fortunately, she's got a few limitations, like she has to touch you in order to read your mind, which is quite a good... Whenever you give someone a power of some sort, you need to put in a limitation or something that mitigates it, if that makes any sense. So, for example, Deadpool, if he gets his head cut off, would pretty much end him, and then the Thanos thing happened. So, I liked her as a bad guy. She was sufficiently scary, and you could understand why people were scared of her, because she could take on fucking anyone with ease. You didn't even have to think about it. So they had to play to get the Juggernaut's helmet, which they had a load of what I refer to as off-brand X-Men in there. So you didn't have Jason Fleming as Azazel, but you did have Ray Parker's Toad. But you did manage to keep Pyro in there from the original X-Men series and that. But she was quite a good bad guy. I like Mr. Paradox.
I liked his performance. I thought it was agree with you.
Yeah, it was very comical, and it kind of fit with the whole kind of way they were doing things. So that was cool. The humor for me didn't land all the time. But again, I may have been in an audience with curmudgeons.
Genuinely, I think you might need to go back and see it. There were jokes that didn't land, and there were jokes that landed after the end credit scene. Then made it all. You know, when he was swearing needlessly for that, it didn't make sense. I laughed at it because some of the words he was saying. You know, you got a sneaky cunt in there, but the fact that they then made Chris Evans say it all at the end there, right? You know, good boy, Queen yes. Chris Evans, and he is swearing like a goddamn trooper, right? And then like Deadpool goes, "See, got it," and you know it's fake.
That was
brilliant.
Yeah. Because it looked like he just set him up and fucked him up.
Yeah.
It really did, and Wolverine, and because if you watch it back after knowing that. The Wolverine was like, no, don't say it. Don't say it. We know he said it, but don't say it. But yeah, that was amusing. I will not lie at that. I'll be honest with you. I was going to walk out because I hate fucking post-credit scenes. Marvel's, that's one thing that they've done. I think we watched Twisters, and when it finished, I was like, come on, let's get up, because it's not a Marvel film. It doesn't have a post-credit sequence sort of thing. And yeah, that's one thing Yeah.
Do you know? But because I saw in a completely unrelated thing, I saw Bad Boys 4 this week. I fucking loved it. By the way,
it's good, isn't it?
That's got a post credit.
I needed that.
That's got a post credit scene.
What's the post credit scene? That one?
It's totally fucking stupid. It's 3000 BC. I'll try and send it to you. You've got to watch it. It fits with the film. You are absolutely right, by the way. Reggie, fucking loves it.
Yes,
yeah,
the bit where he's like, and it does it, and the actor does such a good job at making it just look like it's just the training kicking in.
Yeah,
and I love that because it's been given so much shit throughout those films.
And I loved, and talking of cameos, loved Michael Bay's cameo in that film.
Oh yes,
that was a brilliant fucking blinking you're missing cameo, but brilliant. So not good call on Bad Boys 4. Fucking loved that film as well. That was the one thing I saw this week, and really enjoyed it. But I came at that cinema buzzing last night, and that's maybe why I initially reacted to Robert Downey Jr. the way I did. Look, this is not. I came out of that cinema going, this hasn't saved the MCU. But I find it interesting that there was so much there was so much stuff that we've been saying about Disney and Marvel that we've been saying, and Deadpool makes those comments and they let them say it. I think it is them admitting it. I genuinely do.
No,
I think it's them admitting it.
No, you're wrong.
I think it is.
I call bullshit on that. I call that's just Ryan Reynolds just having Ryan Reynolds his way. That's what that is.
Yeah, but he's like the comment like allowing that level of roasting. I tend to. I think it's Gary that said it, and I agree with it. I think this is them admitting it without admitting to it. I think by allowing this to go out there, that is them putting their hands up slightly. They can't deny it, Gareth. They can't deny it now, and they do have to do something, which is why either this Doctor Doom thing is fucking genius, and we're not getting the full picture, or it's desperation.
It smells of desperation.
Yeah, but we're not being told something.
Oh, the failure.
We're not being told something, and it's exactly what you just said at the beginning when we talked about it. People are not going to understand it. We're not being told something. That something is hidden here, and I'm not sure he's not coming back as Tony Stark. And this is all an elaborate ruse. I think it could be a ruse, or we are going to get. I think we're going to get Chris. I think we're going to get them all. I mean, they did a fucking trailer. We got the Captain America trailer, didn't we, as well? So we got Harrison Ford, and Harrison Ford was there, and he didn't murmur. He was probably speaking. He was like, no, he actually came on stage, and I've got to give it to him. He looked younger.
Look younger.
Um,
That thing, it looks like what they've done in the reshoots that they've done of just to go back and acknowledge all the mad shit that's happened in the MCU that no one's fucking acknowledged, like the giant poking out the ocean. And it's like, oh, we found adamantium. Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Let's park it here because we've got Memento to talk about next week.
yes.
Which I'll probably need to rewatch. Anything you want to say before I press the button?
No, not really. Thanks to everybody in the comments. I think Biffo, have you seen Deadpool yet? I don't think you have you? Because I think you'll be
Fuck, we've ruined it.
Or you've switched off because we're spoiled the shit out of it. I think it's Sunday. It's the opening. You know, it's done. It's the biggest Marvel movie since Spider-Man 3, and it's going to do. Look, the fans behind. You know, everybody has got behind it. The only person that I've seen take a big dump on it is Dave Cullen, and I think Dave Cullen was probably in the same fucking audience as you.
None of the fucking humour landed in my audience.
I get it.
Seriously, I was the only fucker laughing. And that makes you really self-conscious, and maybe that fucked my enjoyment a bit.
I think it
does. That make sense?
I think you're gonna come to this like I came to Infinity War. It just depends what happens next. But look, I enjoyed it. It's been an interesting week in geek culture. As I said, there's a tiny little LED running on a watch battery. It could fail. That's my thing. That's mine for the week. Anyway, we got House of Dragon tomorrow, so get my geek on again tomorrow.
It's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye for me. See you next week, guys. Bye bye.